Hello, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I'm going to be going into a little bit of detail about my rating system. So before I start this video, I just want to say that I reached 1k today on the day that I am filming this, which is the day before you are seeing this. Thank you all so much. This is more subscribers than I ever thought that I could get. I was setting up my bullet journal the other day and looking at my 2018 goals, and I said in there that I wanted to reach 1000 by the end of the year, but I didn't think it was likely at all. And here I am already, and it's not even June yet, and I'm freaking out about it because now I need new 2018 goals, and I don't even know why you're all here because this is just my little corner of YouTube that I started because I had no one to talk to about books, and now there's 1000 of you, and just thank you. Thank you all for joining me. There will be a poll over on my Twitter about what I should do for 1k. I will be putting this up tonight, so by the time you see this video it will be over there. So you can vote for whether you want like a Q&A, a giveaway or whatever. I've got a few options on there. But that is all for this. Just know that I'm thankful and I love you all. And yeah. So the reason that I decided to do this is because I saw a video probably around a month ago from Emma Books, and she was doing sort of a recap on a video she'd made 2 years previous on how she rates her books. And I think that she raised a lot of interesting points, and I felt like maybe I wanted to clarify how I rate my books, what each rating means, and all the sorts of stuff like that. Another thing that I wanted to sort of discuss is how you shouldn't take my ratings as an influencer on whether you pick up a book. And I do have a few examples that I will be discussing towards the end of this video of why you shouldn't do that. So essentially I rate my books on enjoyment. I do not rate them critically. I am not triggered by a lot of things in books. I have a very high tolerance threshold. So sometimes I may not pick up on things that may trigger other people. And like I said, I don't rate critically. The only exception to this is if any critical points impact my enjoyment. And the reason that I do this is for the same reason that I dropped English literature and started English language in college. And that is because I want reading to be fun. I want to enjoy my books, and rating them critically and picking holes in things is just not my style of reading. Obviously, if you do that, that's great, and I'm happy that you can, because I just can't. I can't bring myself to pick apart the books that I really want to love. So I rate all of my books on Goodreads. I use the 5-star rating system, and I don't use half stars. So a lot of my ratings can be inaccurate because I don't use half stars. And it also all depends on perspective. For example, if I gave a book in the Throne of Glass series 4 stars, I may still enjoy that much more than a book that I gave 5 stars. It's just within the context of the series of Throne of Glass, I expect the bar to be set a lot higher. And so even ratings like that can become a little muddled and inaccurate. But just as an overview, my 5-star rating system will start at the bottom with 1 star and work our way up to 5. So if I give a book 1 star, it means that I genuinely think it is a bad book and I would not recommend that anybody reads it. It also means that I don't see any redeeming points in it. I can't see why anybody else would enjoy that book, and I just think it's terrible. As you can tell from this, I don't often give out 1-star ratings because while I rate on enjoyment, I like to draw the line between not liking a book and saying a book is bad. A 1-star rating can be very harmful for a book, especially for like a debut author or a lesser known author, and I don't like to do that. Which brings me on to my 2-star rating. A 2-star rating means that I personally did not like a book, but that doesn't mean I think it's a bad book. I see why other people could find enjoyment in it. I just personally did not like it at all. So it's almost like a 1-star, it's just I think that other people would enjoy it a lot more than I would. Now the 3, 4 and 5s base a lot on emotional investment. If I give a book 3 stars, it means that I didn't dislike it and I didn't like it. It was just a book. It didn't engage me emotionally, but I don't think it was terrible. I quite enjoyed it, but I just didn't love it. 4 stars is, oh my god, I loved this book, but it's not a favourite. So I can really enjoy a book, but if it doesn't get me lusted after the love interest and I'm not like upset when somebody dies, if it deals with an emotional subject matter and I don't feel moved, but I still think the book was really good and I enjoyed my time reading it, then I will give it 4 stars. 5 stars, you have to get me emotionally invested. For example, A Court of Mist and Fury. One of my favourite books because I love it so much. I connect with the characters. I feel like part of the inner circle. I'm that invested in it. And that's kind of what hooks me and gets me to give a book a 5-star rating. However, there are exceptions to this. For example, if I read non-fiction, I often tend to give it a 5-star unless I know for sure that the information in the non-fiction is incorrect. So if I read a study on A Court of Mist and Fury, which I know a lot about, and I felt that it was inaccurate or was biased, then I would give it a lower rating. But if I'm reading it to learn something about it myself, I can't really say whether that information is inaccurate. I assume that it would be, and so I would give it a higher rating. Just gonna sip on some tea. So when I do my ratings, because I do rate on enjoyment and not critically, if I do think that I'm reading a bad book yet I still enjoyed it, I will let you know on Goodreads and in my wrap up and any reviews that I do that I really love this book, but the writing is bad or the relationship's problematic, because there's nothing wrong with problematic content. You are allowed to enjoy it as long as you recognise that it is problematic. So I would still give a book a high rating if it was problematic. For an example, All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. Deeply problematic, but I really liked that book, and it's definitely one that makes you think. And yes, so while I rate on enjoyment, I do like to sort of let you know if there are any negative points, what I thought was bad. If I loved it but I thought it was trash, I will tell you that, because I know that some people will take my recommendations, want to read the books that I like, and then go, this book is crap. Why does she love it? So I do try and give you as much information as possible. I'm also going to give you a few examples of books that I've rated that contradict each other, and sort of show you how the rating system is flawed and you shouldn't necessarily not read a book because somebody rated it 1 star. My first example is The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I gave this one 5 stars. I absolutely despised the main character. However, partway through, I realised that the reason that I hated her is because she reminded me of me and a person I was that I don't want to be anymore, and that I'm glad I'm not anymore. And so I gave it 5 stars for the pretty powerful writing, and that I did like every other character apart from the main one. That was a 5-star book for me. However, I recently finished A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. I gave this 4 stars, but I still like this book more than The Upside of Unrequited. The reason that I gave this 4 stars is because I did love it. However, I'm salty that it's a full price hardback and it doesn't move the plot forward. It was an entirely pointless read. So compared to the rest of the books in the A Court of Mist and Fury series, and compared to what I expect from Sarah J Maas, this can't be a 5-star book, so I had to knock it a star. But if you compare it to The Upside of Unrequited, I actually liked this one more. Next we have a book that I've actually seen with quite a few high ratings on Goodreads, and I'm surprised about it, and that is Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter. I gave this book 4 stars and maybe the second book 5 stars. I really loved this trilogy. However, I do think that Gina Showalter writes teenagers like a middle-aged woman who doesn't actually know what teenagers are like. It reminds me of when I was like a child writing about teenagers, and I thought that if they wore like short shorts and like strapless tops and things that are entirely inappropriate for like 14-year-olds to wear, then they would be like the sexiest, most amazing teenagers ever, and really it's just not realistic and kind of trashy. That's how she writes teenagers. Also, going into this, I did expect it to be an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it's not really at all. However, I did really enjoy it. I'm like so in love with the love interest. So this is an example of where I've rated a book highly, but I actually think it's trash. Then we have The Roanoke Girls by Amy Engel, and also The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. I gave The Roanoke Girls 3 stars. I gave The Woman in Cabin 10 2 stars. With The Roanoke Girls, I really enjoyed it. However, I was disappointed by the ending a little bit, so I knocked it from like a 4 that it would have been to a 3. The Woman in Cabin 10 I really hated, but that's because I don't like crime or mystery thrillers. So in line with my sort of rating system, I gave it a 2 because I don't think it's a bad book. I just really disliked it. However, if I actually directly compare these 2 books, I like The Roanoke Girls at least 2 stars more than The Woman in Cabin 10. So when you compare them together, it's not really an accurate rating. And then the last book that's rated inaccurately is Alice by Christina Henry. I expected this to be something different than it was. I expected it to be like a gory asylum type twisty horror, and it's not. It's more of like a creepy horror with like creepy seedy men and prostitutes and strippers and like sex trade and stuff. and that's not what I expected from it. I gave it 3 stars because I gave it an extra star for the benefit of the doubt. However, this book is actually 2 stars because I didn't enjoy it. So that is it for this video. I hope that you have maybe gained a little bit of more insight into how I rate books. I just wanted to put out this video to give you guys a bit of an idea about how you should not necessarily go off somebody's star rating before you pick up a book, because some people may rate critically, some people like me might rate for enjoyment, and then everybody's scale is different, context plays into ratings, and it's all just like a whole stressy, messed up thing. Please let me know down in the comments how you rate your books, and please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. If you head into the description box below, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter, and also a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website and the Instagram for that, and also a 10% off discount code if you'd like to check any of that out. But that's it from me today. Bye!